Welcome back to The Edge. Google's ad editor, hotel ads, and lead forms are coming in. LinkedIn has acquired the video app Jump Rope. How much does WordPress dominate the market share of CMSs, and results and features on Google's universal search, bid for placement, and may be influenced by clicks? You're listening to News from The Edge for the week of August 2nd, 2021, here on Edge of the Web Radio.
From the Edge of the Web studios, here's what we're looking at this week.
We're looking at some news here. This is Edge of the Web Radio. I'm your host, Aaron Sparks of Site Strategics. If you're new to the show, every week we bring you amazing guests to chat with about digital marketing trends and topics. Each week, we're covering the SEO news of the week as well as digital marketing news, separate from our interview podcast. So check that out on a weekly basis as well. We're getting more news to you even more quickly. Make sure you check out all the recent shows over at edgeofthewebradio.com. That's edgeofthewebradio.com. This is the Site Strategics Digital Marketing News Desk of Edge of the Web. And joining me on remote is our anchor in the wild. That is Mordy Oberstein, Head of Communications at SEMrush. Mordy, how are you doing?
Great. I have a question about airports. So I haven't been in an airport since February of 2020. I'm now in beautiful Miami. So you're online to check your bag,
right?
And then it's a long row, so you can't see where the next spot is. So there's a person there pointing. You go there. You go there. And they're always wearing like a pilot's uniform. Like, why does everybody who work at the airport have to have a pilot's uniform on? Like, what are you, captain of like pointing which spot to go to?
Well, I mean, I think they pulled them from some cosplay opportunities there, and they just want to be recognized for what they do, you know.
Okay, but it's like your job is literally, I'm not demeaning the job. Like, hey, it's an important job. I need to know where to go.
Right. But
why do you have to like the bars on the shoulders? I'm a lieutenant of pointing.
I've got wings.
Right. Remember when I was a kid, is to give out wings? Like, yeah, that doesn't happen anymore. Now you can use it to hijack an airplane.
They'll give you a mask instead, right?
They did. They were giving out masks on the plane.
So, you just flew over there. I just flew from from Colorado. And, boy, whenever a flight gets canceled, right, all the etiquette that's supposed to be happening in the post-COVID era and all the give everybody your space, all that just breaks apart. Literally, we had a canceled flight. There was a stack of people complaining, shouting, dropping F-bombs in front of the attendant that looked like a flight pilot.
She was a cancellation captain.
She was the cancellation captain, and boy, she did not want to be in that spot. But I mean, everybody gets kind of blew past the social distancing, right? It was game on. I got to get out of this airport. So
if you ever want to see like the possibility of society that completely degenerating into complete madness, it's just to watch it at the microcosm that when a flight gets canceled in an airport.
Oh my gosh, everybody panics.
Like the Harvard professor flipping off the flight attendant. Absolutely no, as if she controls the airline or he controls the airline.
Exactly. All they're doing is reading the screen, buddy.
Cancel the flight. I did the same thing, by the way, on the way in. So I had alcohol gel in a bottle. Now the bottle was more than 3.5621 ounces, whatever it is.
Okay.
The amount of liquid in it was less. I made sure.
Sure.
You didn't have a smaller bottle. Like, no, you can't bring it on the plane.
You gotta make room for the other components of the bomb, right?
Right. But, like, it's a freaking pandemic. Like, What do you mean? This makes no sense. Like, I'm gonna die of COVID on the flight now because I don't have my Alka-Gel.
Oh my God.
How am I going to rub my body down in Alka-Gel on the plane if I don't have Alka-Gel?
Wow. So that's a sentence I didn't think was going to be on the show today.
I was very confused. I thought Morty was talking about Jello shots. So
no, alcohol gel. Hand sanitizer. That's what I'm looking for. Hand sanitizer.
A little bit of a Dory and everything's fine, right? Oh my gosh. Okay, so many things wrong with what you just said.
How did you not expect me to say something like that?
I don't know. I'm getting kind of seasick on you're on the camera feed here. Are you? What's going on?
Just so the audience knows. You guys had me bouncing around my hotel room, like, no, turn this light off, open the curtain, sit upside down, sit sideways, turn over here. For like, guys, this is not news. It's an audio experience anyway, for the most part. Yes, we have the YouTube channel. I'm not knocking it.
Right. Oh, we do, don't you? We do have the YouTube channel. I'm just going to
literally behind me.
Morty, we put you through all this so that people will come look at it.
Exactly.
Now everyone wants to know. For those who aren't watching, Morty is laying on his back on his bed with his head backwards, looking over the bed, reverse.
Exactly.
No.
At the rest of us. I swear that's what's happening.
I'm not laying on the bed anymore. The computer is literally resting on my knee as I'm sitting in a chair trying to balance the right lighting for you people. By the way, the computer breaks, I'm expensing it.
So why are you in a hotel room, and where are you?
Because my kids are not here. That's why.
At some point in time, we all run to a
I am presenting on behalf of SEMrush at PubCon tomorrow.
Very cool. What you're presenting?
I don't know.
Yeah, see, exactly.
Landing page optimization, and why you should not think of your landing page as separate entities from your website, because for some stupid reason there's like, oh, landing page optimization. That's completely different than regular optimization. Landing pages exist on their own. They can basically be like these orphan pages that have no contextual understanding from the site overall because they're landing pages. That makes no sense. And it really doesn't.
And it really doesn't, especially, I mean, as so many pages get no review. And we all know that the first instance of somebody visiting the site is not from the homepage. It's all the different places, all the different pieces of content. So in essence, if you're not actually paying attention to the experience on those sub pages, let alone a landing page, you're not optimizing that experience. And you're kind of giving the cold shoulder to consumers, right?
Okay, if you're not going to interlink on your landing, because there's this I think it comes from thinking of landing pages from a PPC point of view.
Exactly.
Right, but you can no index those pages. Those don't need to be your landing pages for search.
Sure.
Your landing pages for search should have links to your other pages. You could have related articles, your blog, whatever it is, because I think we think of semantic SEO as semantic SEO is what's on the page. Mm-hmm. But contextual understanding also happens in the other pages surrounding the page. So if you sort of orphan your landing page,
yep,
you are literally orphaning your landing page. You're basically throwing it out there like Oliver Twist, living on the streets with no hope of a happy life.
Please, sir, can I have some more semantic SEO? You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. So hope you do well in your presentation at PubCon and safe travels to and from. So with that, let's jump into our first news article. What say you?
Yes, it's a news podcast.
There it is. And hopefully we can stay balanced on Morty's knee as we do this.
My foot's falling asleep.
All right. From Search Engine Land, from George Wynn, Google Ads Editor version 1.7 brings support for hotel ads and lead form extensions. We always want to make sure that our news is peppered with all areas of news. Obviously, we focus on SEO regularly, but we wanted to do a little bit of work on the Google Ads side of things. The editor version 1.7 will be available on Monday, August 9th. With this update, advertisers can now use the Google Ads editor to manage their hotel ads, YouTube audio ads, which is really cool, and lead form extensions, and select specific parts of their campaign to download. Now, I know, Morty, that you're not in the PPC SEM lane there, but this is a pretty cool feature for Google Ads in general to be able to have lead form extensions. But the editor itself has matured over time to be a really strong component in any ads campaign. And if you haven't checked out the editor, it's high time that you do it now. It's wholly a different experience, and there's so many additional extensions that are available for us. But with lead forms itself and the hotel and the audio ads in the web interface, the ads editor now supports these different features that can actually be managed offline, right? So you don't have to have your online session for all of this. And the ability to download specific parts of the campaign may also make it easier for advertisers to work on their campaign while they're offline or in the air, in the airport as well. So What do you think about these extensions? Have you experienced these in the wild? And what do you think about the editor?
I'm sorry, I blacked out.
As soon as we talk PPC, his eyes roll back in his head.
I'm jet lagged. I don't know what's flying. Well, I mean, look, lead gen is great. That sounds good. Was it the case that Hotelize used to be its own separate platform? No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And now the
so
extension.
One platform.
Exactly. Now
sounds good to me.
The extensions are actually getting pulled into the AdWords environment and the editors now. So the editor's always been a bit removed from all the extensions that you could actually manage inside the ad campaign, and it's getting more and more. All those resources are more and more valuable. So it's just easier to be able to navigate all those. But the lead form extensions, we haven't tried out here yet. I'm eager to see how that all works because that's that intermediary before even a landing page, right?
Yeah, no, that is cool. I concur.
Thanks, appreciate it. That's for the addies in the room. I guess he's not one. All right. Other article here. Now, this is kind of cool from social media today from Andrew Hutchinson. LinkedIn acquires the tutorial video app Jump Rope as it looks to expand its creator tools. They've actually acquired the how-to video app Jump Rope as part of its expanded video focus and tying into both the development of its new on-platform creator tools and the ongoing growth of LinkedIn Learning for professional skills development. Now, I wanted to bring this around from a social media digital marketing lane here because LinkedIn has been ever growing and truly not only stabilizing, but creating that niche inside of social media of a true unique experience outside any other social media platform. And video is prominent right now, and certain types of video as well. There's the how-to side of this. I'm interested in seeing what the amount of viewing time is really going to be available, or what you're going to see from a viewing time inside of LinkedIn. How much are professionals going to spend watching these videos? What's the sweet spot going to be? Is it going to be a minute and a half? Is it going to be 30 second? And then if it's a how-to professional type of delivery here, how much content can you get through? However, if they actually have this entire library of additional professional service content that's going to be a deep well, kind of like what was the LinkedIn's educational platform, Lynda, right?
Right.
There's a huge amount of content in that space. Is this something where we're going to be able to see these type of video libraries inside the LinkedIn interface? What do you think about this the video app acquisition here, Mordy?
So social media marketing is a channel that I do enjoy as opposed to paid search. Sorry, paid search people. All right. I don't know. On the one hand, bless them for trying. On the other hand, does everybody have to like copy everybody else and try to get in on everything? Like, does it actually, for example, what's it called? Fleets, right? On Twitter.
Yeah. That's gone. Yep.
Like, that made no freaking sense. It was ridiculous. But you're trying to capitalize on that story format, and you'll say, $1 million. That's what LinkedIn's going to do. They're going to try to capitalize some kind of. But why? Why can't you just do your own thing? Like, why do you have to copy it? Good marketing, practices don't necessarily mean doing what the competition is doing, because that may not work for you. But we get so focused on, the competitor's doing this, so I have to do this. Really? Do you? I don't see how it works, to be honest with you. I personally find that the LinkedIn social media content, like, that feed there,
yep,
kind of works, kind of doesn't. That needs to be refined as it is to begin with. And then you're going to interject video.
Yeah,
it'll just be a whole other mess. That's my personal.
They really need to work on the algorithm, because anytime you allow so much into the feed lane, a lot of the stuff is off-putting, a lot of stuff is valuable, right? And they've got to work on the algorithm of the preferences of the individual. I don't want to see how many self-help videos. You can do it. Hang in there, kitty. You can. I mean, love
that. No, you're gonna fail and you suck. That's reality. But it's a problem because people think of LinkedIn as it's lead gen.
Right.
And the second anything is lead gen, you're just going to get tons of crap content.
Yeah, exactly. And that's where it's really been for a while. However, the ad platform has really matured inside of LinkedIn.
That's true.
And the interactivity elements that are available for LinkedIn are more mature. If they do this right from a preferred instance with the user, meaning, okay, yeah, I do want to see this level of additional video content, but don't populate the lane, don't flood the lane. Give me the options of what type of feed I want to see, right? Hopefully they'll think this way as they acquire these. But you're absolutely right, is that, is this a FOMO? Because certainly Facebook's been going in and trying to get crowd into the Clubhouse space. They're all doing the same thing again, where I thought we had realized, or the platforms had realized, niche is better. Not only utility, but also a particular vertical that you can plant inside of is a heck of a lot better than trying to be everything for everybody.
Right. But what it comes down to, you probably have some CMO or some big marketing exec saying, okay, look, so-and-so competitor is earning X amount of dollars or bringing in X amount of traffic or whatever metric you want to look at. Mm-hmm. By doing this, I am going to show that I can also do this, because the CEO above them is saying, well, how come we're not doing this? Because no one, and this could be like a larger point of, hey, you have to understand what metrics mean and what to look at, what not to look at. And just because it works for a competitor doesn't mean it's a good idea for you, because the metrics say so.
Yep, absolutely. Well, LinkedIn has actually opened up a new job posting. You might be interested in what they're doing here. Head of Community, focused on supporting LinkedIn creators around the world, which is part of its team designed to establish new opportunities and incentive programs to keep creators posting updates. So if they don't have that area to keep on prompting people to create, it probably would naturally die on the vine. So now LinkedIn, they're buying the video app, but they're also creating a cheerleader space.
Well, like the groups things are a mess, right? LinkedIn groups are a hot mess. So they're gonna have to. This sounds to me like it's some kind of way of trying to figure that out.
Yep.
And create a more organic community, as opposed to, I'm just throwing my link in there and hopefully someone likes it.
Yep. No, you're right. Right. So this article also focused on jump rope and what it does. The uniqueness of the application is to improve personal branding and presence, and eventually facilitate sponsored content and connections. And that's one of the reasons that LinkedIn or acquired the app. So we'll see how that all deploys. Hopefully, it won't just be graffitied and everybody under the sun is now ponying up how-to videos and creating subscriber lists in there, because it's just going to get even noisier, right?
Basically, and which means that you will ignore it, at least the way I ignore my LinkedIn feed.
All right. So that said, check out Rebecca Dunn's article over at Search Engine Journal. You know what you can't ignore? You can't ignore WordPress's dominant inside the market share of the top 10,000 websites. So check this out. Really cool article. There's some new research highlighting content management systems ranked by market share, with WordPress taking the lead with an incredible impressive share there. So on the top, WordPress now owns 44.26% of the CMS market share of the top 10,000 websites worldwide by measuring Alexa traffic rank. And this actually, this research was carried out by GigaPress. So they looked over 900 known systems, and to the top is WordPress, 44%. The next runner-up, Drupal, has just 9.63% market share. The other runners-up are Adobe Experience Manager, 8.54 market share. Joomla, my God, Joomla's still around, at 2.2, and Blogger at 1.88 market share. So what a huge presence WordPress continues to have in the space here. So, on the lower down, we've got Umbraco, DataLife, Sitecore, and Shopify, all under 2% market share.
Aaron, how many of these have you used?
How many have I used? I've used WordPress, Adobe Experience Manager, Shopify, Joomla, Drupal, and that's it on my round there.
That's pretty good.
And I hate most of them. Oh my Lord. Joomla especially. I actually had to do a Joomla to WordPress conversion because we were trying to move about 1,000 products out of some sort of archaic product / e-com abuse inside the Joomla system to be able to export it into true content pages, and it was a monstrosity of a migration. There's a side note.
The first CMS I remember using was .NET Nuke.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. You saw going into some of the nuances of the little crevices of CMS. There was one out there called PensoWorks, which was an ASP application off of an Access database. And way back in the day, I was running servers, dedicated physical servers, right? And that was just like a hacker frenzy. It was like bees coming in on this thing because it was so full of security holes.
Awesome.
It was terrible.
Awesome.
Half my day was just fending off hackers. It was ridiculous.
That's amazing.
Oh, it was terrible. Anyway, what do you think about this, Morty? The breakdown of market share here.
Interesting, right up my alley. This one. First off, it's interesting to see the top. What was it? 10,000 traffic URLs sites, right? So the normal market shares are not there. So, for example, I think Shopify is generally, when you look at across the board, like 3.5%, or Wix is 2.1%, and Squarespace is 2.1%. Because you're talking about smaller sites. So one is, okay, so a couple of points about this. One is looking at like, the market share, the top 10,000, websites overall. That's great until like how many searches are local searches?
Exactly.
Right. So then you're not looking at the top 10,000 URLs anymore, websites anymore. Yep. Now you're looking, I'm like stuck in my PubCon presentation where I'm talking about like 10,000 URLs.
Right.
And we're not talking URLs no more. We're talking websites themselves. I'm sorry at home.
You're getting exactly, but you're talking about.
I haven't released them in 24 hours. Like, give me a little bit of slack here.
Data is still data. That's your point. Is that the data is going to be skewed differently?
Right. Like it's what you're going to take away from this. Drupal's killing it. Mm-hmm. No, when you look at the overall market share of these CMSs,
right?
Because different CMSs cater to different markets. Or you see it in the Shopify is a great example. Their market share here is 1.7. By the way, Yoast puts out numbers every month, I believe.
Okay.
You can check out the market shares every month. And again, of course, WordPress kills everybody, but the normal Shopify market share is around like 3.5%, something like that. Mm-hmm. So you see, like they have a lot of big sites, but they don't. But half of them are not. Does that make the site less relevant, less good? There's like this idea like big numbers somehow mean something.
Right.
Is a little immature.
No, I think so. I'm freaked out because I'm seeing a Morty over your shoulder talking to me past the Morty on the screen. Yeah, exactly. It was kind of freaky. Right. Like it was Mortyception.
A lot of Morty going on.
You're absolutely right. It's about data. And if you actually look at the how we can actually find all the sites, right? Not just the high volume top 10,000 sites, you're going to have a different story. And there's probably a lot of different decisions on why those CMSs are being used for those, right?
And that's the real point. The question is, okay, for my client, which CMS is right? So they have a huge budget, they're a relatively big site, and they want a lot of complicated things. WordPress, because you can customize everything. Mm-hmm. They're a small business, they don't have a big design budget, they don't have any dev budget. So I don't know, Shopify or Squarespace or Wix, one of those platforms could be really, really good for them.
Right.
And so let's looking at like top 10,000 URLs. It's interesting to see it. I'm not knocking the article. I'm knocking our relationship to these kind of articles because great. But everything needs to be parsed and applied to the right place at the right time. So a little bit more of that. A little bit less of 10,000 URLs. That website is the top best ever. And this is the dominant Drupal.
Now, one would love to study not just volume, but if we could actually see the top ranking SEO ranking CMSs, right? And
so that's also, there's an Ahrefs study on it. That's also careful of that one. Actually, there was a Search Engine Journal article comparing Wix to WordPress recently that took this up. So Ahrefs did an article, and it compared. I remember being pissed about this when I was at Wix. It compares WordPress traffic and Wix traffic, or rankings. I'm going on like no sleep. I think it was rankings. So of course WordPress is going to be better because how many SEOs work on Wix? Not many. How many SEOs work on WordPress?
More than 44%.
Right. So, the question is like, are you comparing apples to apples? Are you comparing optimized sites to optimized sites, and which are ranking better, which are not ranking better? Or are you just throwing casting a wide net? Everything about data is how you parse it.
There you go.
And you can always parse it more. And if you don't know how to parse it the right way, or if you don't parse it at all, you're going to get, but it's basically, not entirely accurate picture of things. And that's what the recent Search Engine Journal article pointed out about the Ahrefs studies, that, you're going to compare Wix to WordPress, but the websites are apples to oranges. I would like to see, take a local Wix site, take a local WordPress site that an SEO has worked on, or they've optimized, or whatever it is, however you want to say, and then compare it and see.
There you go. It's about the data, folks, and don't be skewed by numbers, right?
No, it's a pet peeve of mine in general.
Yep.
So when you look at I probably talked about this on this podcast before. When you look at a thesis, or a master's or doctorate thesis, so the order is abstract, limitations, right? Okay. Because unless you understand the limitations, you don't know how. It's not about, well, this data sucks, it's limited. That's such a dumb way of looking at it. It's their limitations, so you know how to qualify it, where to apply it, where not to apply it, and how to understand the data. You can't understand that limitations.
Correct.
But when you look at, and I'm not picking on anybody in particular, because everybody is not good at this. When you interject the study from a marketing point of view, the last thing you want to do is short summary, limitations.
Really doesn't roll off the tongue, does it?
Right. But you can't really understand what you're looking at without the limitations. They're super important.
And that's, I think, to kind of summarize your point there, we do need to be data scientists and appreciate what data science brings to the equation when we're talking about digital marketing. You can't have arbitrary volume concepts. You have to understand that whenever you're looking at any particular digital marketing model, you have to isolate all the variables, understanding what you can't see before you can make any decisions off of that. That's what you're saying.
Yeah, basically. I'll give you a really good example. So my PubCon presentation, I show in 2017, I take 10,000 landing pages, and their average rank was like 35. In 2021, I took another 10,000 URLs, another 10,000 landing page URLs, and their average rank is 30. So landing pages rank better, right, than they used to.
Okay.
Well, no, because how many of those 10,000 URLs in 2017 still even exist?
Exactly. Right.
Not many, by the way. That was a problem in the data that, okay, so now I need to compare URLs that ranked in 2017 and that still rank in 2021.
Exactly.
So to me, like, you have to parse it, and even in there, you have to parse it a million different ways.
Yep. Otherwise, you continually have skewed data, and then it turns into some sort of echo chamber of what you're really wanting to prove, as opposed to what you're proving with the limitation and with the visibility.
100%. And don't get lost. Well, 10,000. I analyzed 10,000 URLs. Yeah, but the data where I analyzed only 1,000 URLs was way more accurate, because it was way more appropriate for what I was trying to do.
Yeah, exactly. You have consistency in the data.
Right.
There we are. All right. So, and again, we lift up everybody on all these different platforms who write this and continue to contribute into studies. But we want to have our listener base and the SEO and digital marketing audience at large don that data scientist hat. You don't have to go deep diving, but you got to know what you're looking at. Just don't take things at face value. So there. All right. So you know what you can take at face value? Some great results. Great results from Site Strategics, the proud sponsor of Edge of the Web for the last 10 years here. And we're pioneers in the agile digital marketing methodology. Our core specialties are technical SEO, SEM, social media, conversion rate optimization. Yes, we have our newsletter sign up on the site again. So we're focused on results-based marketing that works. So we actually look at the variables. We adjust, and we want to make sure that we see all the different factors that affect a marketing campaign as much as we can see, and then steer by those variables. My gosh, who knew? So if you're interested in what we can do for you, simply give us a call at 877-SEO for web or 877-736-4932. All right, last article that we have on the show today. Fourth one, usually we do three, but wanted to swing it around to this article from Barry Schwartz over at Search Engine Land. Google's universal search results bid for placement that may be influenced by clicks. So in the latest Search Off the Record podcast, Gary Each from Google spoke about how the Google universal search works, and more importantly, how Google decides which vertical search features to rank in what position in the main search results. Now, this is really interesting to me. This article was, so you're dealing with universal search. First and foremost, let's define universal search for our friends and family here. Mordy, what's your take?
So, okay, so the SERP features bidding for each other is not new.
Right.
To do a Barryism, it's not new. That's what's been going on forever. It's like, for example, like you'll see, I did a study on this a long time ago, like which features tend to show with other features to try to like see where the bidding was. But you see this all the time, right? You ever see a logo pack at the bottom of the page?
Right.
That's because it got a score, like it should be on the page, but the bidding system said, okay, whatever's above it should come first, whether it's organic results or another SERP feature.
Right.
Right. I'm looking at the camera and like seeing you talking.
Hilarious.
This is not working. So that part's not new. Google has a bidding system of what features get placement on the SERP.
Right.
Right. For example, people also ask boxes are very much like a universal kind of SERP feature, or video boxes appear a lot. They get top scorings very, very often, is why they appear very, very often, and they appear high up on the page. What's not, what I didn't know, at least before this, was about the clicking aspect of it.
Exactly.
Which, by the way, is not to say that Google uses click data for organic rankings.
That's wait. See, come on. I just wanted to go over that cliff there. That's why I teed this up. So if they can measure it, right, which they can measure anything on the screen, right? They can see the impressions, they can see time on site, they can see all the interactions with these events.
Your analytics.
Yeah, exactly. But so they're potentially using clicks as a voting mechanism to additionally throw additional factors into each and every feature's score, right?
Correct.
So why wouldn't there be the similar scenario from ranking or CTR improvements on your organic? If all of a sudden I'm getting a better click-through rate on my position 4 over here, wouldn't that possibly construe a little bit better score on my ranking potential there? Just throwing that out as a hypothesis.
So it depends how you look at it, right? If you look at it, like an organic result is you're meant to get the information. You're meant to go to the page, get the information that you want to be satisfied, right? Clicks don't necessarily tell that story. Bounce rate doesn't necessarily tell that story. Now, I understand both sides of the argument, right? You could say, well, they do kind of tell the story, or they are good enough. But then the argument comes, well, no, because let's say, for example, a blog post. Bounce rates are very high, right? Because you read the post and you bounce, right?
Exactly.
Maybe, right? And by the way, even pogo sticking. Maybe I got the information really quickly and I left, and I was happy. All I wanted was skimming.
Right. So it's transactional in nature. So it's all contextually based as well, right?
Right. So you don't there's an argument of why that wouldn't make sense with a SERP feature. If your goal is just to see whether or not the feature is engageable, meaning it's relevant in terms of people find it useful from an engagement point of view. They see it's relevant because they interacted with it, right? Whether or not they found the right content, not the right content, may not be Google's goal here.
Sure.
If it's not their goal, if their goal is just to gauge relevancy in terms of engagement with the feature, then a click might factor in.
Absolutely.
Right. For example, let's say people also ask. I open the box. I expand one of the questions. I see the answer. I don't click on the page. but
Because
maybe
you
I
don't need
got
it.
it
Exactly.
right there.
Right.
Right,
They've delivered the information.
Right. Or I clicked on the local pack. I may not have actually called that business up that on the listing that I clicked on. I may have been completely irrelevant to me.
Right.
But the fact that I clicked on it does tell you that the feature is relevant. I would compare it more to, and I'm sorry, I'm ranting.
You're fine.
Whether like the click and like from an organic results point of view, what they're trying to say is, okay, are organic results relevant? And we'll look at click data.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, yeah, like if you wanted to see like are organic results relevant here? No one's clicking on results here.
Right.
Okay, so look at the click. Obviously, like that doesn't work for organic results. But if you're just trying to gauge relevancy of the thing being there,
right,
then clicks could work.
Well, I gave you a red herring here because my true interest here is the click engagement factor as it applies to MUM and what we're about to start seeing of useful content, video content, carousels, audio content, different types of factors based on search intent, and being able to see and that type of behavior translate to you've got a MUM over here.
In question.
See what I'm saying?
Right. You notice if they look at similar search results where there's a video carousel appearing,
right,
and they sort of profile, okay, these queries that have a video carousel are similar to the query you're asking from a certain perspective, because MUM breaks all apart, right?
Yep.
And the video is not clicked on, then no video for you. I would assume no video for those results either, because
you're going to start potentially it's going to be a different order based on that genre of query intent, right? So you're going to start patterning the best vehicles of media based on intent of the user. That's what I think is part of this particular article.
I would say, like, so for something like MUM like that, it would be more similar to something like, let's say, like RankBrain. Let's say they analyze the queries, they understand that for this kind of content, this signal should be higher. Let's take on like a video, right? A recipe site.
Yep.
All recipe sites need to have an image. Okay, they're indirectly clicks are a part of that because the AI is saying, okay, what do users like? What didn't they like? What happened here? It's an indirect factor, it's not a direct factor. I would say that MUM would be something more like that versus just a pure, okay, SERP feature gets clicked, doesn't get clicked. This is a very similar query to the SERP feature.
Right.
No video here because the video carousel didn't get a click on another kind of query.
Got it. Yeah. So
that's my take.
Understanding intent, and Google's trying to adjust what it's delivering to satisfy the consumer as best as possible. So it makes sense that this is happening, and it's certainly going to boil up into the mashup, which is MUM in the future here. Yeah?
Sounds good to me.
Fantastic.
I got nothing left to say. I'm fried.
All right.
I'm literally, it's slowly sloping off.
All right. So you know what sounds good? SEO chat. We got Kevin Gibbons, right?
Ooh, you prepared.
Hey. Well, somebody did. So what's the topic this week on SEO chat?
I don't know. He was away last week.
Yeah.
And I've been flying this week. So we've been like crossing emails.
All right, so this is a to be determined topic. I'm sure we know what it is.
If you like surprises, perfect.
Let's see if we can go like 3 days without sleep, Morty, and then jump into SEO chat. Why don't you try that?
Yeah, it's going to be interesting because like usually SEO chat for me is at night, 8 p.m.
Yep.
It's legit going to be 1 p.m. I'm back.
Yeah, you're in our sector of the world, aren't you?
Yeah.
All right, so 1 p.m. Thursday and 1 p.m. Eastern every Thursday, SEO chat. Jump in there and you'll find out what
you will learn and interact with other people in the community and share ideas or just bitch and moan.
One way, shape, or form. It's for everybody.
It's for everybody.
All right. Well, we wish you all the best, Morty. Get some sleep. Good luck in your presentation. You're presenting tomorrow, right?
Yes. Well, I don't want to drop in the podcast, so it could be today or yesterday.
Time's more of a construct anyway.
Well, relative.
All right. Safe travels, and hey, continue your consumption of the YouTube channel over there because I mean that was kind of freaky, man. I mean,
it is freaky.
One thing is get him on the podcast, but he was literally watching YouTube as we joined him.
Oh, my leg fell asleep.
All right. That's it. Put a fork in it. That's it for Edge this week. Check out our JD Prater and Joe Martinez podcast dropping in the next day or so. And be sure to like, comment, and subscribe to our YouTube channel whenever we drop our video content out there each and every week. From all of us over at Edge, be safe, be well, and do not be a piece of cyber driftwood. We'll talk to you next week. Bye-bye.